Infiltrated by Pegasus, is your iPhone becoming less secure? Once in Pegasus gains full access to the targeted iPhone or Android smartphone, data, location, text messages, and contact list, along with stored audio, video, and photo files. With the revelations of the Pegasus project, investigations has come the realization that for all Apple claims regarding the security of its phones, the iPhone is vulnerable to undetected infiltration. How has Apple been targeted? Forensic evidence suggests the Pegasus spyware developed by Israel's NSO group used zero-click attacks executed via Apple's iMessage and FaceTime communication apps, the Apple Music streaming service, and Safari web pages to infiltrate the iPhones of journalists and activists. Once in Pegasus gains full access to the targeted iPhone or Android smartphone's data, location, text messages, and contact list, along with stored audio, video, and photo files. In effect, it gains, as a security expert put it, often more control than the owner of the phone. Over the past few years, important people and people who worry about the security of their devices have moved to iPhones, especially since BlackBerry and Windows Phone have faded into oblivion. So, an attack targeting phones used by politicians, business leaders, and journalists will have a higher proportion of Apple devices. How has Apple responded? In a statement condemning the attack, Ivan Christie, head of Apple's security engineering and architecture, said attacks like the ones described are highly sophisticated, cost millions of dollars to develop, often have a short shelf life, and are used to target specific individuals. While that means they are not a threat to the overwhelming majority of our users, we continue to work tirelessly to defend all of our customers, and we are constantly adding new protections for their devices and the data. How vulnerable are iPhones? Independent security researcher Anand Venkatanarayan said the Apple claims about security enhancements now notwithstanding, there exist lots of smaller vulnerabilities. This, he said, makes it easier for the NSO to either procure or develop exploits on their own, which can sell for millions of dollars. NSO Group is a military graded weapon manufacturer, and just like any arms maker, they have to guarantee their customers that whatever their supply is going to work everywhere, and Android and iOS are the only two big markets out there, Venkatanarayan said. According to Venkatanarayan, multiple zero-day vulnerabilities have been found on iMessage over the last year and a half. With iOS 14, Apple tried to secure iMessage with blast door and sandbox technology designed to protect only the messaging system. It processes all incoming iMessage traffic and only passes on safe data to the operating system. But as Amnesty International's forensic analysis of iPhones infected with Pegasus spyware showed, the NSO group's zero-click attacks managed to bypass the zero-click attacks do not require any interaction from the target, and according to Amnesty, there were observed on a fully patched iPhone 12 running iOS 14.6 until as recently as July 2021. No device can claim to be 100% secure, said ethical hacker and cybersecurity expert Nikhil S. Madheswar. Every security has its own backdoor, and even if the backdoor is private, there is new methodology and a new technology to break that backdoor. Why, for example, does Apple have a bug bounty program when it claims its iPhones are unhackable? Madheswar asked. There are two major ways through which iPhone can be hacked: by jailbreaking or via third-party unauthorized iCloud backup, through which you can get to the user's iMessages, WhatsApp chats, and contacts, he said. Apple sources said the company views security as a process as part of which it quickly addresses critical vulnerabilities and provides security updates to users even on older devices. The sources said Apple had pioneered new protection like pointer authentication codes and blast door and was working to improve these features to respond to new threats. How does Apple stack up against Android? Both operating systems are equally vulnerable or secure. However, only iPhones keep the data logs that makes it possible to carry out the analysis that is needed to detect possible spyware infection. It is not easy to detect Pegasus on Android given the logs tend to get deleted after a year or so. Pranesh Prakash, affiliated fellow at the Information Society project at Yale Law School, said both iOS and Android are vulnerable to various security exploits and have robust programs to counter these kinds of security vulnerabilities. Spyware like Pegasus have to be evolving to different forms of security measures that Android and iOS take. Why are such attacks becoming frequent? Venkata said that the nature of the smartphones market dominated by two operating systems, iOS and Android, make it easier for companies like a NSO group to carry out attacks. If you find out vulnerability, you can hit a major chunk of users. The scale of this monopoly or duopoly is such that it's not such much variability makes cyber offense operations harder, he said. What can Apple do now? Apple's reputation as a safe and secure device has been dented by the Pegasus revelations. Apple has since highlighted how its security team has grown by about 4 times in the last 5 years and now comprises many top experts from threat intelligence specialists and offensive security researchers to platform defense engineers and everything in between. Tim Vezarian, tech analyst and chairman of Creative Strategies, said in an email, Apple needs to deal with it as soon as possible and serve as example of correcting this exploit of iOS. Apple has weathered other security breaches in the past, and if they deal with it quickly and makes sure the threat has been eliminated, this will regain their customers' views of Apple's security focus. Thank you.